everybody. Welcome to another new episode of Film Seizure. I am Jeff Arbuckle. With me, as always, it's Starsky and Hutch. It's Jason Oliver. Jason, how's it going?
It's going. All right. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Chuck Moore. Chuck, how's it going?
I thought you would have called me like Glasses Man or Bald Man. Or
Well, I didn't give myself.
Head.
I didn't give me.
Bald
Okay.
face head.
All right. Well, it's whatever you want to be called, Captain Cuntface, because
Yes,
we could go that way.
I'll be Captain Cutface.
It's. I mean, at
Oh, and
least.
hi. Hi, by the way.
Oh
Hi.
yes. Hi. How's it going over there?
Going well.
So when I've been wanting to do this episode for a long time. And when I first kind of thought about like doing this episode, I thought, think of the pussy weevil.
Think of the pussy. What's a pussy weevil?
Yeah. So anyway, so the specials. So this is an interesting one because it's the first time that James Gunn had really kind of like entered the stage in terms of like superheroes and stuff. He had already done the script for Romeo and Juliet, I think, by this point. I think that was a little bit earlier, or a couple of years earlier than this. And it kind of comes at an era where, I mean, obviously this movie's 24 years old, so to call the movie fresh now is not right, but it was then. It's a low budget superhero movie where they're really not doing superhero things. And it's just kind of leaning into the characters more than anything else. It's like the average day for them. In fact, it is pretty much like 24 hours in the life of the specials.
It's like what's a bad day for superheroes when they aren't out kicking ass?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, and it's like we kind of come in. There's obviously already issues in the group, so it's like we're kind of coming in like right in the middle of some other stuff. But it's what are they doing when they're not doing their superhero stuff, their thing, And I guess, it's like I do have a lot to say about this, but I'm going to kind of kick it over to you guys first. Jason?
I don't have a lot to say.
Okay.
So I'm glad you do. I saw this movie probably 20 some years ago. I thought it was fine then, and it's fine now.
Sure.
I don't have much for this. It's very jokey. Some jokes are funny, some jokes aren't. There's not a whole lot of meat on this bone for me.
Okay.
There is one scene in particular that makes me laugh my ass off. I watched it like 3 times because it's so fucking funny. It's like a Lonely Island joke before Lonely Island, and it destroys me. But everything else is just, yeah, it's all right. It's fine. It's you could do a lot worse than spending 80 minutes with this movie, but I don't have like a whole lot of like gushing praise for it either. So.
Okay.
What is the movie that Jamie Kennedy told us came out and ruined this prospects for this film? I can't remember. Another superhero film.
Did he mention
out.
Mystery Men at all?
Yes.
That came out before this.
Yeah. That's the bigger budget version of this movie.
So I think I'm one of those victims. I don't think I've ever seen this. Like watching it was brand new to me. I'd seen a few clips from it. Like I knew the Weevil and that, but yeah, I'd never seen this probably because it was like The Illusionist to The Prestige, I just didn't care to watch it. Didn't care. I already saw The Prestige. That was good enough for me.
Well, The Illusionist is a much different movie than The Prestige.
Yeah, but I didn't know that then. Like,
yeah. But it is.
many years ago.
And it is worth your time if you ever get around to it.
I think also the other thing about this movie too, that it is so low budget and had such a, like, pretty much when I first saw this movie, I first saw it because I bought it blind, just from the
Interesting.
trailer. But that's part of my story later. But it's
You didn't buy it because Melissa Joan Hart was in it?
well, we'll come back around. We'll come back around to the whole story about like how I even found out about this movie, because there's another movie that's very very key in this story. But the I don't know if I've ever seen this movie in a store, in a Blockbuster, in a video of any kind of video store. I don't think I've ever seen this movie anyplace else but buying it.
It's not available
I have no
now
idea.
either.
No, it
Sorry,
isn't.
go ahead, Jason.
Well, there's a 20th anniversary Blu-ray that came out, but it's probably long out of print.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
completely didn't even know that came out.
I don't even remember when I saw it. I know for certain I saw this movie probably when like I was living with Shannon and James.
100% it would have been either
You-
me or Shannon.
One of you two probably put it on and we watched it. But I don't really remember watching it, if that makes any sense. But I do remember seeing this movie, and I remember multiple lines from it. One thing about this movie now that is really fun are all the "oh fuck that person"
Yeah,
and "oh
yes.
fuck that person" moments.
I mean,
right?
this entire cast is like just loaded with people.
But there's also those people you point out and like, oh, that person didn't really make it, and that person didn't really make it.
Sure.
So it's kind of fun that way too. It's like, wow, you were surrounded by greatness, but you didn't really quite hit the mark they did.
Right, right.
Well, yeah, because it was like Thomas Hayden Church had hit it, right? A few years
Oh yeah,
earlier.
he had already been on Wings. Like he is
Yeah, he was on
already.
Wings. He
Yeah.
did
Yeah,
that one movie, I can't remember the name of it. And Rob Lowe obviously was huge in the 80s, but everyone else was like, for the most part, new.
well, not exactly, because Kelly Caulfield was in Living Color, original cast member
Yeah,
of
but
In Living
that's in
Color.
Living Color, dude. Like,
Yeah, but that
not
was
even
I
everyone
mean,
watched that.
That's a pretty big deal, though.
I mean,
That's a pretty big deal.
she was the white girl on that show. It's like it was her and Jim Carrey were the white guys, and it's like you kind of like I knew who she was by then. But yeah, I mean, like it was pretty much kind of going off of Rob Lowe, the guy from Wings, the guy from Scream, and some other people who were on their way one way or another. They were
I
just getting in.
Yeah, and you've got Jordan Ladd in there who had kind of sort of been a known property. If you were a teenage boy in the mid 90s, you probably knew Jordan Ladd from Embrace of the Vampire.
Oh yeah. Well, she was also, yeah, and she was, of course, her mom was,
Sure, Ladd, yeah.
yeah. So it's like, but she was still kind of on her way to something. It really kind of seems like I have to assume that a large portion of this cast was cobbled together either by people who ran in the same circles,
Yeah.
people who
It
had
has that
worked
feel.
together
Yeah.
previously, because Thomas Hayden Church and Kelly Caulfield did Wings together for a little bit, or at least she was in an episode of Wings. Or they were already just, hey, I know the right person through a friend that would be, because in some ways it also kind of feels like James Gunn kind of wrote some of these parts specifically for the people playing it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Like I mean, like there's no way anybody else I could ever imagine being the great Strobe than Thomas Hayden Church. Like it's just the way he delivers those lines. It feels like it was written for him. And I'm sure that was probably, manufactured on set too. I mean, I'm sure once everybody came together, I wouldn't be terribly surprised if Mason and Gunn kind of piece some shit together. Jason, do you want to talk about the director of this movie?
I think it's wild. I mean, he made movies like this. Like he made the superhero movie parody movie, right? And he did a couple of the scary movies. Like Scary Movie 3 is probably the funniest one, honestly. Like that's a funny movie. But yeah, he's gone on to like these prestige projects at HBO now. He went from The Specials to Chernobyl. I mean, that's quite a difference. He's also showrunner on Last of Us, which is kind of genre adjacent, but yeah, I mean, prestige projects, right? So he's got those showrunner chops.
Well, I mean,
It's
James Gunn is running fucking DC now. Like,
yeah, but I mean,
I'm just
it's
saying that's a
amazing.
big jump too
Like it's
for
a
him.
big jump, but it's not a it's all within the same kind of trajectory,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
Like he's
I
not.
get it. You don't
You know what I
you
mean?
don't watch superhero movie parody and then expect to watch Chernobyl from the same.
Right,
I get
right,
it.
right. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like James Gunn kind of stuck to a very specific path, right? He never really deviated
Oh yeah, because
outside.
right after this, he's doing the Scooby Doo scripts.
Yeah,
So he's sticking to pop culture.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, I mean, it is like insane though to think that, oh yeah, I made this dumb, superhero parody in 2000, and now he runs DC, the
yeah,
DC universe. I mean, that is insane. It really is. Like that's a hell of a story.
but so one of the things that I mean, what makes it so very James Gunn in that entire path is that this movie, you can see some similarities with this movie and the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, where there's internal strife, but there's kind of this is our strife, and you can't make fun of our team if you're not part of the team sort of feel. Like there's like a kind of, and then you have characters like Rocket Raccoon, who's kind of like Jamie Kennedy in this
Well,
movie.
just like infighting, just
Yeah,
generally
exactly.
infighting,
But
and
he's got the
and dance
comedy down
sequences.
and dance sequences, but he doesn't have the heart yet.
Right,
Like
right.
the part that
Yeah.
makes you go, oh, and tear up just a little if you do.
Yeah,
It's
He,
that
he
sort of
doesn't
thing.
he doesn't have very many likable characters.
Well,
in
that's
this.
what, yeah, and
That's a big problem.
well,
Yeah.
and that's why I say you're kind of coming into the middle of an already deteriorating problem.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like the boys a little bit, just not
Yeah.
like crazy
Yeah,
like the boys.
Yeah.
yeah,
But the other thing I was going to say is like, the picture of Superman that's been released, where he's just putting on his boots like any normal person, like it's a slice of life sort of picture. That's here too. That was in Guardians of the Galaxy. That's why you get James Gunn to make those movies like that, is that you try to identify with those people.
I will say that James Gunn, I feel like he's been trying to perfect the superhero dance number for many years, and he finally did it with Peacemaker. Like he did it. If you've ever seen the opening credits of the Peacemaker, it's one of those opening credits to a show that I watch every time. Like sometimes you hit the button,
Yeah, right.
skip to credits or skip the opening. Never with the Peacemaker.
Yeah, I mean, no, more recently, it's like I never skipped a single opening credits title sequence for X-Men '97 either.
Oh, never.
It's I got to hear that theme song.
Fuck yeah! I'm usually at the gym when I'm watching that too,
Yeah.
and it gets me going. Yeah, it's great. Feel that.
Jason goes berserker mode at the gym.
Dude, I get my heart rate up. It's great.
No, but I think that's, if you kind of think about like what were the superhero movies before this one, right? It's like it's like Batman had already like stalled to a complete stop, and those were so poorly. Like Schumacher didn't understand what he was making, so he just relied on, we'll make it silly and goofy because it's supposed to be silly and goofy. It's a comic book. He kept calling it a comic book. It's like, sir, you made a movie, not a comic book.
Yeah, he went full camp.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And which was, then you also had movies like Steel, which were all like G. Willikers, and it's like, okay, that's not quite right either.
Well, we need a vehicle for Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
He has a Superman tattoo. He loves Superman. Like people call him Superman. There's this new character in the wake of the Death of
Death of
Superman,
Superman, yeah.
Steel. They perfect match made in heaven.
But
Let's make them
we can't
Steel.
show the Superman symbol or even mention Superman.
Right.
We're going to strip the entire identity from that character.
Which is that's so
Yeah,
disappointing.
but it's played so childishly,
Yeah.
and
It's a kids movie.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then okay, so then comes Blade.
And not a very good one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Then comes Blade, and then comes X-Men, right before this movie came out. So when I said that this movie is kind of fresh in the sense that this is like a legitimate like comedy, it's not trying to be campy. I mean, there are camp elements to this, but it's a legitimate like showing the superhero genre in a different light. And I suspect that this was actually, I don't know when it was actually filmed. My suspicion is it was filmed.
I would guess early 2000 probably.
Oh, I think it was longer than that, because at the time that he was making this, this is one thing I wanted to ask Jamie Kennedy when we talk. That's another story that we've got later in this. Is Jamie Kennedy was in Three Kings, and he got David O. Russell got fucking pissed at him because he always came in blue because he couldn't get all of the body paint off. And
He was in Three Kings? I don't remember that.
yeah, I think he was not. I think he was just one of the other guys with.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't one of the Three Kings.
It's been a while since I watched that. Let's do a rewatch.
But he's yeah, I guess he was massively on David O. Russell's shit list, which apparently is not that difficult to get on, and at one point in time was downright probably dangerous to your health.
So could have been shot in like 98 then. Yeah.
Yeah, so like
early 99. Yeah.
because there is certainly a 90s feel to this movie, even though it comes out in the 2000s. Like but it probably
Well, it comes out in like January of 2000, I think, is when it officially premiered.
Yeah.
No, it was September. Sorry.
Well, still though, I mean, like it's one of those movies that feels like it got made, and then it was we got to go and find a distributor. Why Lloyd Kaufman didn't, I don't know.
Yeah, that is kind of strange.
But the person who does come along is, and somebody who like was a producer on it, is Mark Altman. Mark Altman made the 1998 gem Free Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
Free Enterprise was how I found out about the specials, because they put the trailer of the specials on Free Enterprise's DVD. And
do you know what Altman followed the specials up with?
No.
The Uwe Boll classic House of the Dead.
Nice. Don't think
picked winners.
Wow.
Don't think I haven't taken a look at Uwe Boll's filmography from time to time when trying to figure out some B movie enema action.
Oof. And House of the Dead too. Oof.
Well, yeah, you in for one, you're in for two.
Yeah, apparently he was a writer on that writer credit too. That's oof. Oof. Okay.
I wouldn't be terribly surprised if maybe part of that writing credit was like an earlier like version of it before Uwe Boll took it.
That's probably. I mean, maybe it was a good script. Who knows? Uwe Boll has got the power of like shit fingers. So yeah.
They got the power of an anal slug.
He'd be shit fingers man in this movie.
Imagine the script for Amadeus in the hands of Uwe Boll as a director.
I don't think
I kind of do too. Now I'm thinking about all the like weird movies that I just want to see like a totally incompetent person make. Like that would be a really funny sketch series, I think.
So basically it's like Free Enterprise and the specials was kind of a 1-2 punch in my life when I needed those two movies to happen. Like being big into Star Trek and nerdy stuff, Free Enterprise was like oh wow, I can actually grow up and be the way I am now and seemingly have a decent life. Boy, was I wrong about that. But then the specials was like, I'm a comic book fan, and one of the things I always like the most about comics isn't necessarily the fighting the bad guy stuff. It's all the interpersonal stuff. And it's like, wow, okay, the specials is kind of doing interpersonal stuff. It's doing the soap opera stuff that I like about, particularly about the Avengers at the time that this was coming out. So yeah, I mean, like, I think I said it at the end of last week's episode. I certainly said it to you guys, if not then, privately then, that, it's like, it kind of felt like somebody is paying attention to me here. It's like, this is what somebody is beamed into my head. And it's like, wow, I really want something other than, these, the typical stuff, something more than just, nerds being shoved into lockers and superheroes doing superheroing,
And then you get that for like 20 years in a row afterwards. So congratulations.
Well, I would say that, I mean, yeah, I guess.
The
I mean,
nerds, the geeks did kind of inherit the earth for the next
for better or worse.
20 years, for better or worse. Yeah, exactly. We have seen the dark side of geekdom because of that rise. We've seen all versions of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right though. Like the late 90s were kind of like the emergence of that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean, you just thank Blade, and now currently in the comics, Blade is eating people left and right. It's a shame.
We've seen better days. I've been the star of many plays.
Yeah.
and then the bottom dropped out.
Blade eats people now? I had to check that out.
Oh, yeah, have you not been reading Blood Hunt?
I have two of them in my shelf
is Blood Hunt Blade? I didn't know that.
He's in it.
He's in it. He's in it. Yeah, Blade, Dracula, all those folks. All the vampire people. Anyway,
I'm sure he only eats bad people, though, right? Wow.
Anyway, so basically, there is the other thing about this movie that I do kind of like, and I think it's not something you should do, but I kind of like it in this regard, is that the movie does kind of feel like it's being not told necessarily like a comic book or like a traditional plot. It's a little bit more like telling the story in comic strips. Like you get little segments and then there'll be like an interview segment, and that will be like the end of like a little vignette almost.
Yeah, see, I didn't like that as much. The movie felt a little like off balance to me. Like what is the subject? I mean, what are these interviews? I don't know. It didn't feel like it had a real solid understanding of how it wanted to tell this story.
I mean, I don't disagree with you on that. The reason why I kind of like the comic strip idea, whether you have like the interview segments or not, the comic strip format allows for you. While not every joke lands, I never feel like any joke goes on too long. And that's that's
true.
None of the scenes feel like they outlast their purpose. That's what I mean by like the comic strip format, where it's like we're kind of getting the total day, but it's kind of broken up into these various segments as if you're reading it every day in the newspaper.
Yeah, I didn't get that feeling, but sure.
I mean, I don't know. It's because like it does jump from like maybe a pair of characters to another pair to another group.
I guess I can see what you're saying from like more of a serial comic. Yeah. Like a 5-strip serial comic and like you said, in a newspaper. I can see that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not truly an anthology, because it's like there is one cohesive, like, it's like I said, it's basically 24 hours.
Yeah.
of this group, but it's also not. I don't disagree with you in the fact that it's not terribly cohesive. When I watched it, I kind of feel like it's a little bit of a kitchen sink type of thing, because like not only does it have like these different things that these different people are doing, and sometimes it feels like maybe in editing they rearrange some things because like,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like it kind of feels like something where like if you're reading the comic, it would say something like "meanwhile," and you would see somebody else doing something at the same time. But
Yeah. I almost wish they just like they kept the original 5 team member specials, right? I feel like you're right. The kitchen sink approach, like having so many characters in an 80-minute movie, like diluted any real like story to cling on to.
I wonder if this movie was cut to shit, though.
it could have been too.
That's possible. Yeah.
I bet it was like 2 hours or something, and people are like,
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. It's like Free Enterprise, surprisingly, for an independent romantic comedy for guys, is 2 hours long. This is
Yeah.
83 minutes or whatever, 82 minutes. So it's like maybe it was one of those things where it's like, we'll do it, but we need to kind of scale back some stuff because I also wonder if like, because there are 12 members of the team. It was very specifically mentioned that, but technically there are 19.
19 of them,
Yeah,
yes.
right? Because if you
of
count 8,
yeah.
right? But you have Strobe, you have Mrs. Indestructible, you have 8, you have Deadly Girl, you have Minute Man, Nightbird, the Weevil, Power Chick, Alien Orphan,
Did you
Amok.
mention Strobe?
Yeah, I got Strobe in there. And who's the last person? Who am I? U.S. Bill, and then there's Mr. Smart.
Fucking U.S. Bill, man.
Oh my God, U.S. Bill and Mr. Smart are kind of sneakily my favorite characters in this movie.
U.S. Bill is hilarious. Mr. Smart, I mean, he's a gag mostly, but
Mostly, but like I love the fact that everything he invents and everything he thinks of is kind of worthless.
well, it just alters his senses so he can be a superhero, right?
Right.
Like smiling isn't really a sense, but it is like an olfactory thing that
Right.
right? Like moron. He's not
Right.
very smart.
Well, he's at the very least, he's not very socially smart, right? Because like he fucking puts a maxi pad on his face.
Yeah, but a smart person wouldn't invent something that makes them smell things better.
Oh yeah, because I could have told him that everything is covered in urine.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's really not that smart. I think he just fooled them into thinking it was smart, and that's how he got on the team.
Well, yeah, he only says he knows something about ants. Everybody knows something about ants.
Right.
Are you talking about? Are you just? I'm sorry, I had to jump away for a second. Are you talking about Dollar Bill?
U.S.
Well,
Bill
U.S.
and
Bill,
Mr.
US
Smart.
Bill?
yeah, and Mr.
Yeah.
Smart, yeah.
U.S. Bill is hands down my favorite character.
Me too. By a
He's
lot.
so fucking funny. Everything with him. I want a Dollar Bill movie or U.S. Bill movie. Yeah,
Yeah, you can't say dollar bill is Watchmen.
right. U.S. Bill is like he's the guy who's in my favorite scene in this movie. He's a character that's like straight out of Lonely Island. Like, oh my God, if there's ever a Lonely Island character, it is U.S. Bill.
Like
So
when he's
fucking
drinking
funny.
the punch and he's like, isn't it sometimes when you put things on your tongue and they taste good? Something like that. I can't remember exactly what he
Yeah.
says, but it's
I'm
so funny.
just standing here looking at people. Some of them are wearing suits.
There's a guy that comes here every 30 days and measures what the light bulbs do.
He shows her
He's
that
like, "You mean
twice.
electricity?" Yeah, he's like, "Did I show you this already?" Every 30 days.
He is absolute gem. Absolute gem.
And the scene with his mother, I hope
That's the
is that
one.
the one. That's
Yeah.
the one. Oh my
Oh,
god.
that's
the
the
one.
one. That's one. That is one of 2 excellent edits in this movie.
It's
A
it will,
sharp edit at the
it
end of that
immediately
scene kills
reminded
me.
me of the Cool Beans scene in Hot Rod.
Sure.
That's what it
I can
reminds
see
me of.
that.
And oh my god, it just destroys me. Just them laughing at each other over just the stupidest shit because like, hey, this is where he gets it, right? And they have this great relationship too because they could just laugh together. Like they each other's like perfect company. And it just is delightful and is hilarious. Oh,
Shadow
so
makes
fun.
your head look like a hat. What about now? No, nothing. What about now? Now it looks like an ear.
That
I
woman,
can hear you.
that woman was that woman was Jeff Goldblum's wife.
No shit.
Really?
She
I
had
thought
a
you were gonna
brief.
say it was like a Zucker Brothers mom.
That is weird,
Sorry.
really?
Yeah, back in she was married to him and they both were in Big Chill.
Huh.
Yeah,
Wait a minute. Who was it?
Who is she in Big Chill?
I don't know. I don't remember, but she was like a bit part in Big Chill.
Oh,
Weird.
okay, she's probably at the funeral then.
Probably.
Probably.
'Cause-
Yeah.
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 Weird.
Yeah. It's. Yeah, I can't remember her name. I had looked it up, but I don't remember it now.
Well, that's one of those guys. Who played that character?
Oh, U.S.
U.S. Bill Mike Schwartz.
Mike Schwartz. Yeah.
Like didn't do anything. Like what the hell? He did some TV.
Didn't
Oh,
do
he was
that
on
show
Scrubs. He was on Scrubs for a long time. Oh, actually, he was a writer and producer of Scrubs. Hell, he probably made a lot of money doing that. He was on the ground. He was in the ground leagues.
Patricia Gall was her name. Was the mom's name.
Okay, he was a writer on Bored to Death. So he became a writer and producer. Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm betting there's not a lot of range there with that guy.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like a lot of these people in this movie were probably just like
Improv comedy people.
improv guys or women, and they were just kind of given this opportunity. It's like, yeah, sure, I'll be in your movie, right? And they all went on to do other things.
Surely they were mostly.
Probably a lot of writers.
Yeah, probably just a lot of people that knew the Guns and knew probably Jamie Kennedy. I mean, Jenna Fisher is
Yeah.
James Gunn's girlfriend at this time.
Oh, I didn't know they were.
Yeah, they were
together.
married for like 6 years or whatever.
Oh,
right
weird.
after this. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, they were.
I guess Mike Schwartz had a recurring character in Scrubs too. I never watched that show, so I don't really know. But
It's pretty funny, but I never watched
Lloyd
it. Like, religiously.
Slosky. Does that ring a bell for you?
I've seen clips
Listening?
of Scrubs, and the clips are funny. Yeah, but I never watched it either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, Jenna Fisher is the girl who stops James Gunn when he's trying to figure out what to do with the team breaking up, and asks for his autograph, and of course calls him Minuteman, and he flips out on her. The girl at the party that wants his autograph is
Taryn
Taryn Manning. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of these kind of like
boy,
oh,
Taryn
yeah.
Manning made a career, a legit career out of playing white trash. Like holy
Yeah.
shit. It is wild how many white trash roles she has in her filmography. And well-known ones.
Yeah.
Kind of insane. Yeah.
So yeah, basically the whole movie, I mean, we haven't really talked that much about the movie. The movie is basically about this team of superheroes. It's just an average day, and that night they're going to be honored with a line of action figures. It was like basically as Thomas Hayden Church says, as the leader of the team, it's like superheroes don't get Oscars, they get action figures.
Right.
And they already have issues. The Strobe is like full of himself. The Weevil is far, far, far better and more popular than the rest of the team. In fact, he's being courted by another team because of branding, basically. Jamie Kennedy is the is basically like the Hulk, but he's like a former supervillain who's just a fucking asshole. He's just an awful person.
Right.
Um, you have one the Strobe's wife is Paget Brewster. She's indestructible. You would think that she would have like she could be better than this. In fact, she laments constantly that she wants to be someplace else, any place else. um, I assume that Power Chick is probably pretty tough, but is stuck with this team of outsiders as opposed to she basically is the absorbing man from Marvel Comics. They have a literal alien on their team uh, who U.S. Bill calls stupid, which is hilarious.
Yeah. Well, he's about the only one he could call stupid. Yeah.
But he's not though really stupid. He's just a different life form.
Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
Bloody
Yeah.
Mary.
Oh my god.
The only thing he can say right. Otherwise, he goes, "Bleh."
Blah. He's really the physical comedy he does in this is pretty darn good.
Sean Gunn is really good at that.
He is. He is good at that.
Yeah, because like he is. Oh man, when he's smiling at Deadly Girl, and she's like, "Please make him stop doing that." That's
Yeah, it's pretty funny. His smile is a lot.
Like he's.
and
Well,
then he's
I
like
mean,
puking on himself too.
I forgot he was Weasel in the Suicide Squad because he's kind of doing
Yeah.
some of the same stuff in that as he's doing here. Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't even know it was him really, right? Because I
No.
don't see his
Yeah.
that I didn't even know until just now, and that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and well, I mean, James Gunn made the movie, so of course he's going to be.
Well, he's gonna
Yeah,
be in
he's
it.
gonna be
Yeah,
in
of
it,
course. Of course he is. Yeah.
So yeah, Deadly
He should
Girl.
get more.
has-
He should get more of that though. He should get more like motion capture work.
oh yeah, he and Andy Serkis are about the best in the business.
But
Speaking
I
of-
mean, Andy Serkis gets all the prestige roles. You know.
Yeah,
Him or what's his face? From Hellboy.
You
Indiana
mean
guy.
Ron
What's his name?
Perlman?
No.
Oh no! You're yeah, I know you're talking about Doug Jones.
Doug Jones. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Doug Jones is well, he's Doug Jones and Sean Gunn are basically in the same like they should be in the same league, kind of physically wobbly, kind of wiggly characters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like almost like double jointed.
yeah, noodly. Noodly
Yeah.
is what I would call it.
Noodly.
Speaking of motion capture, I don't know if you guys remember this, but Judy Greer, who's Deadly Girl in this, she was Caesar's wife in the second and third Planet of the Apes movies. So she was with Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Judy Greer is like Batgirl hot in this.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like as cute and as much as you're supposed to like Jordan Ladd, like my eyes would be on Judy Greer.
Yeah.
In the
You
media.
know how
It would be
jaded
impossible not to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
you know how jaded I am? Like this movie came out 24 years ago, and we watched a lot of movies since. Jordan Ladd is definitely the plant in every movie in the last 20 years trying to destroy the specials.
Oh,
right?
I mean, Jamie Kennedy flat out says that this
Calls her
got some
Yoko.
Yoko.
Yeah.
It's got some
Yoko
Yoko
stuff
thing.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it would totally be that over
Yeah.
the last 15 years.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm like, the whole time, and when he said the Yoko thing, I was like, yeah.
What's interesting about that is she kind of in a weird way brings out the best in everyone though.
Yeah.
Even Rob Lowe, she brings out the best in him, but until he fucks her over. But
Yeah, but even when he fucks her over, you can tell he
he's
doesn't
sad
feel
about it.
good about
he
it.
feels bad about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because he's not just he's also his only friend on the team really is a mock, and he already told him
Yeah.
I'm not going to be that type of guy on the new team. Yeah, a mock wanting to give everybody skate.
So yeah, they're getting
Scabies.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's a
not
mild
scurvy.
rash.
That's scurvy. That's what pirates
Scurvy is what
get.
pirates get. So they're getting their action figures, and one of the things that's happened with a few of the members, like Weevil and Amok, is they've been in less than savory pictures, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, they've been
Been
captured.
in a bathroom stall smoking cigarettes, and
The picture's
they were on
hilarious.
film smoking cigarettes in a bathroom stall. It is very funny. They're just like crouched in a stall, and
U.S.
so
Bill
there's this whole
says,
thing of image, right?
yeah.
Go ahead.
U.S. Bill's like, maybe they're just doing number 2.
Yeah. What if they were doing number 2? But Thomas Hayden Church has this great story about how if he had done something and it caused someone who idolizes him to do that very thing, it was like him doing that very thing, which leads to a very hilarious line later with U.S. Bill.
Yes.
But he's like, imagine there's a little girl and I'm urinating on her.
Yeah.
And he just smiles, and you're like, what the fuck, dude?
It's the line from Tommy Boy where he's trying to say something about getting a good look at your butcher by sticking your head up the bull's ass or something like that.
Oh yeah, what?
Yeah, it's basically that line where it's like he's mixing up the metaphor.
Yeah.
It's a little telephony.
Yeah. Yeah, and he but yeah, it's like the Weevil has gotten this offer to go to another team, but he kind of wants to keep, because he's kind of got like big fish and small pond syndrome. Like he kind of likes being with the specials because he is the popular one. Being on a bigger team, he would not be the most popular one anymore.
But he's also sleeping with the wife of the leader of the group. And that's,
Right.
Yes.
Right, which we get a hint of after the meeting where where the strobe tells the story about if he's doing so, if he's if a guy sees him drinking alcohol and goes home and beats his wife, it's like he's beating his wife. It's
You don't see the Crusaders smoking cigarettes.
right. Right, they're not. Yeah, they're not in the globe smoking cigarettes. And then right, so like he talks to her about that. He kind of like, there's a little bit of physicality there going on, and then later during the presentation for the action figures, they're sleeping with each other out in the car. The strobe finds out because he's trying to find where the Weevil went,
Right.
because everything's about to go down. The commercial for the action figures,
It's pretty hilarious.
I mean,
They made a special just for me.
there's so much going on in that commercial. First of all, Mr. Smart is given the head of Richard Dawson.
Which is hilarious.
Right, because like they linger on that shot for just long enough for then Judy Greer to say, is that Richard Dawson? They've turned her character into an evil clown with a meat thermometer that stabs people with just a regular old meat thermometer.
The regular people don't know if you're carrying meat thermometers.
And yes, Minute Man is not only again referred to as Minute Man, but he is black.
Oh my god.
And he's like, I'm black? I'm not black. It's like, the guy says you have vaguely African features. But Amok is dressed like a Viking. And later, when they're like going to go up and give their big speech to, thank the company for making the toys, that's one thing that the strobe can't let go. A Viking.
A Viking helmet.
And this is when he decides that they need to break up because his wife is a Weevil fucker.
Yeah.
But he's also gotten another offer, and this is the other really funny editing choice. Actually, this one wasn't a choice, if I understand correctly. He's a friend of his who used to go by Zip Boy, says, I work with people, I work with other superheroes to get them into better jobs that are safer and that make good money. And he kind of, I get the impression he makes money off of that too. And, yeah, and the Strobe can't imagine being anything but a superhero at the point when we first meet Zip Boy. And he says, hey, don't you miss being Zip Boy? And the guy says, I still use my powers. I ran here from Yemen this morning, 28 minutes. And the Strobe's like, ha, good time. And then just moves on to another time. Thomas Hayden Church is so fucking funny. I mean, it's just, he's good. He's good with delivery on some of the stuff. But anyway, he decides.
It feels a little bit like he's preparing for that emotional break that's going to make him become the person in Sideways. Like,
yeah,
like that.
Yeah.
Because in Sideways, he is just freaking amazing, but also like so despicable.
Yeah.
But also incredibly likable.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah. So he goes. So after he breaks up the team, he goes back to Zip Boy's like party to tell him that he will indeed be a welding asshole. Which, by the way, for the last 24 years, I've always said that anybody who's a welder is a welding asshole. It's one of the things that stuck with this movie with me. But when he walks in, he just starts asking the room if anybody has seen Zip Boy, to which Zip Boy turns and sees that he's there. And then there's a smash cut to him walking up to him, and they put in a speedy sound
Zip.
effect. Yeah. Which was, if I'm not mistaken, or at least the story that I've heard was that was a mistake. They didn't have the coverage to have him walk, so they edited it together, and they realized it, and it's like, just put in the sound effect. It is perfect. It's like one of the funniest edits ever. And later they have the edit where US Bill and his mom are laughing about the stupid shadow on the wall, and and then there's like the smash cut to them no longer laughing. And it's like, that's just fucking brilliant.
That's like, I guarantee you, maybe not guarantee you, but that is Proto's Lonely Island shit right there. It really is.
That's
like,
the shit we used to do to people in the 90s. We would start laughing real hard and then go straight faced.
Yeah.
On them. Like, this is really fun.
Yeah.
And no, it's not. So it's exactly that, but in a cut. And
because it's like the cool beans sequence is it ends with the cool beans and then just boom, like straight faced. Right?
I'm sure Sandberg loves this movie.
I would imagine he does. Yeah, I would imagine
he's probably knows these people. Like,
I would think so. Yeah.
At this point, I'm sure he does.
Yeah. And so, yeah, but but
I need to watch Hot Rod again.
Fuck, it's so funny. I watched Pop Star.
Sorry, Jeff.
No,
again the other night. Susan had never seen it. Susan didn't like it. I'm not surprised. Like, it has to be very special comedy for her to like it. But I love that movie. But it is not Hot Rod. Hot Rod is the pinnacle. It is so
Hot Rod's pretty perfection for that style.
It is. It is. Yeah. Oh, God, it's good. But yeah, Popstar has that kind of problem too, where it's like, pick a lane. Like, how are you telling this story? Is it like VH1 behind the music, or is it not? Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like the way they did it in Late Night with the Devil. Like, you could tell what the story was, at least in that movie, even though they were going back and forth in time and what's happening now and what's happening on behind the scenes. I'm not doing very well of describing this, but at least you could follow it.
Yeah.
In this movie, with the little interview interjections, I'm like, I know you're giving me backstory, but it's not really informing what I've already seen.
Yeah.
Much.
Yeah. Well, and I think you had stepped away when I had basically was saying it's like, this is kind of like the actual plot is kind of being told in like daily, like newspaper comic strip form.
No, I heard that.
Okay. And like the interviews break that up, but at the same time, I don't disagree that it's kind of funny. I mean, like 24 years on, from the first time I saw this movie, it's like I've seen a lot of better movies, and I've seen a lot of movies that
I've seen
And
better movies.
And the bottom drops out.
Sorry, story's over, Joe.
yeah, I
Smash
guess
cut
so.
to the next,
Yeah,
the
that's
next
it.
thing.
But no, I was just gonna say it's like it's not like I've also seen movies that have not been able to land as many jokes as this movie can.
Oh, it's funny. It's certainly funny.
And
It's a. I mean, yes, it lands a lot of jokes, but it also is. It's got a high batting average, or not a high batting average. It's got a lot of plate appearances.
sure.
No,
Well, I mean, there are a lot of I mean,
It's like that Bugs Bunny cartoon where he keeps hitting the ball and just running the bases, and then someone
Yeah.
gets out.
Well,
I
I
will.
mean,
I will
it's-
give it. Yeah, I will give it credit though that it doesn't like try to jam a joke in every 30 seconds like some movies.
it's not improvised either.
Yeah,
Like, you can tell
right,
you can tell these things
It's
are
not
scripted.
improvised. That's a huge bonus because
Right.
those improvised comedies like Paul Feig comedies nowadays is just like, oh fuck, I can't stand it. Like it
Yeah.
grates on me.
Yeah,
I used
I-
to love watching Will Ferrell and like what's his name? Eastbound and Down. Why can't I remember his name?
It's a
Danny
little
McBride.
different. Yeah.
A little different, but those got to the point too. It's like you're just filming guys say shit and then putting it in.
and then like editor, it's your job to do, and we're not going to pay you enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
This is you can
But
tell.
at
this is
least
scripted.
at least those moments are like they pick their moments with that.
Yeah,
In shows like that, I mean, I would defend David Gordon Green because he's like, I've got Will Ferrell. We're gonna like let him. We're gonna turn him loose, and we're gonna pick the best bits. But it's not like that for the whole show.
True.
Right?
Oh,
I'm thinking
yeah, and like-
specifically about like stuff like the Paul Feig Ghostbusters. It's like I have no problem with female Ghostbusters. I have no problem with the direction they took story wise. I have a problem with like trying to jam as many fucking goddamn jokes and improv into a movie to the point where I'm just like, I don't even know what I'm watching anymore. So
well,
it's
you
like-
don't know what you're supposed to find funny versus funnier versus what's the funniest joke.
and it
that's
just
why you
and it just
don't-
wasn't Ghostbusters,
Yeah.
right? Because
That's
Ghostbusters took its time with things. It actually told a story. It had set pieces that led to jokes and punchlines, right? Not everything is a punchline fucking movie. And this
Yeah, I'm
movie,
not
I think,
gonna-
did a good job of not making everything a punchline. Like it took its time.
Well, and you said that
Sorry,
you don't
Chuck, you were
really
trying to
have-
get a word in edgewise. Go ahead.
It's all right. All I was going to say was you had a lot of funny ladies on that Ghostbusters movie, right? Like people you want to hear from. But you also had a lot of funny dudes on the actual Ghostbusters movie, and you're telling Dan Aykroyd, like, you're taking a back seat, dude.
Yeah.
This is Bill Murray's comedy movie, right? Like, Dan, you're going to have to get occasional jokes. But they're trying to get Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, all funny people
Yeah.
to be funny. It's like somebody has to be the straight person in
Right.
some of these scenes.
Well, and
Like,
then
Right.
in walks Leslie Jones, and it's like she's the
Right.
funniest, best character in this movie, and yet I think she was supposed to be kind of like the Winston of the original.
And I
it's
think
like,
I think that
was.
Kristen Wiig was kind of supposed to be the straight one too, but like everything that
She was a Spangler,
with
but
her
she
was a
wasn't.
joke. Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
I
my
don't-
apologies, Leslie Jones. You were great in that movie. I shouldn't have left you get out of that.
yeah,
Well, no,
you
but-
left
but-
out Leslie Jones.
but she also comes in later in the movie where she is supposed to be kind of like the
The
Winston.
Winston, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, because she's the black one. Like,
Yeah.
Yes, I mean she makes that joke, right?
Right,
yeah, yeah,
She
yeah.
does make that joke.
That's fair. I mean, that is kind of a funny self awareness.
But no, I mean, Jason, earlier you had said that like the characters aren't exactly likable in this movie. I don't disagree, but I can also kind of say that I don't mind spending the time with them, and that helps their jokes land too. Like I feel like nobody is saying anything that I don't feel like their character could. Like when like there's a scene in this movie where Judy Greer is like saying like kind of shitty things about Paget Brewster, and and James Gunn says, "Aren't you supposed to be doing something?" And she says, "This is what I do." It's like I believe it, like I get it, and it's like it
Yeah.
helps land what she's saying. Like it's these are very well, whether they are likable or not, they are well defined characters.
Yeah, that's fair. Maybe. I just think there's too many of them, and you don't
Well,
get
that's
to know
fair.
them. I mean, I imagine if they pared this down a little bit to be, the original five, maybe they gave us more time with just a core group. Like think Clerks, right?
Sure.
In some ways, like this kind of is a lot like Clerks,
Oh yeah, it's a little movie that could.
but it's a little bit like they threw in my opinion, they threw way more at the wall than they should have. I think
yeah.
it could have been a tighter story, and I would have like been more invested.
Even Guardians, like James Gunn has learned that lesson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he would. I think he'd probably be one of the first to say he would agree, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is also like extremely early in his career,
Right,
too.
and it's
So he's like,
and for what it is, like it's an incredible effort. I mean, it's very do it yourself.
and
Yeah,
it's a good proof of concept of what he will become.
Sure.
In this genre.
but it's like I can't like give this movie 4 stars and shit because it'd be like saying that The Following is one of Christopher Nolan's best movies. It's just not, right?
What is that?
But it shows like the potential. It shows like what could be, right?
Yeah.
And for
And-
that reason, it's interesting for sure.
And I think the reason why it's still, even 24 years later, connects with me, even though, like I said, it's like I've grown up a lot since, and I've seen good movies that do a lot of this stuff better. I've seen worse movies that tried to do stuff like this and fall flat on its face. But yet, this also was kind of the first of its kind like this, too.
Yeah, sure.
So it's like,
Didn't Galaxy Quest come out before this? Galaxy Quest is kind of like this
That's
in a way.
funny. Yeah, it is. I agree. This is in that.
But it's not-
It's in the orbit for
it's
sure.
in the orbit. It's
In
not.
the orbit.
It's in the orbit, but it's not superheroes though, right?
That doesn't matter.
I mean, I would say
you're-
Galaxy Quest and Free Enterprise are closer to one another than
That's not the point I'm making.
Well,
But
I think-
we can
I think-
move past that.
Galaxy Quest is obviously like tamed down. It's not really
it's a
adult
studio
comedy.
film. Yeah,
It's not really like adult comedy, although it's more like Pixar adult comedy is in there, right? Like there's innuendo and things. It's obviously got a huge budget. Maybe it wasn't huge, but huge.
But you're taking a
comparatively.
known property and looking at the human element in a comedic way is what I meant.
But
Yeah.
yes, like it is like I agree. I think it's very much in the same conversation, just a different subject. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And I think that, and it's like, and I recently saw that movie again, Galaxy Quest, and it's like, it's still funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's even older. I mean,
Even with Tim Allen in it? I'm
Yeah.
joking. I like Galaxy Quest. I'm joking.
yeah.
Does he have a friend in you, Chuck?
Yes, he has a friend in me.
But no, I just think,
drops out.
The bottom drops out.
but no, this movie is, I mean, like,
Let's move forward.
well, what I was going to say was, it's like, it still hits all the right notes for me, and it's like, and I can say I still unabashedly love this movie.
Are there any like nostalgia holes you need to take us through still, Jeff?
No, I think I really kind of covered that for the most part. I think there is one story we still do need to tell.
Oh yeah, one of you should tell that or tack.
Well, I think the two of us, Chuck, you and I can both kind of do this because it was because of you that I'm able to tell this story at all. So go ahead.
Are we telling it now? So
Yeah,
we
go
went
for
to
it.
Horror Hound last year,
Yeah.
and Skeet Ulrich was there.
Horror Hound is a horror film and all things adjacent convention. That
Yeah. So you can
I just
pick
want to
up
make sure our listeners know what the hell Horror Hound is.
Blu-rays. Yep.
It's a convention, and a lot of celebrities go to meet fans and get autographs. Sign autographs.
And Jeff gets a lot of movies to eventually feature on B Movie Enema. So
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Well, yeah. So Skeet Ulrich was going to be there. Jamie Kennedy was going to be there. And I'm like, oh, Well, I don't even know if I thought of this. Someone was like, "Well, you should get their autographs." I'm like, "I don't want to spend $120 on this."
I feel like
But
Jason was the one who was like, "You should get their
you
autograph."
should do it. You should do it. I'm like, fine. So we ran around. We ran around Horror Hound. We got a poster. We got the backing, and we walked up. And Skeet was great. No, like nothing story wise to tell about him, but his line was like miles long.
He's a good dude, and he seems like he like legitimately like wanted to talk to every single person who came up in line.
Yes, and he was very gracious. He
Yep.
would take a picture if you wanted him to without an extra charge, even I think. And he was just a nice guy. And then you have Jamie Kennedy.
And it's like, we don't know what to expect from this guy.
We waited for him for like maybe 5 to 10 minutes because we could be
took a
first in
break.
line, and we knew he was coming back. And he came back from the bathroom. How much of the story do we want to tell? Because he was mad at somebody in the bathroom.
Oh, he's like, he went on a rant about nobody washing their hands in the
He's
bathroom.
like, this is this guy.
Which honestly, like I would, if I'm meeting fans and like shaking hands with people, I'd be a little concerned too.
I might keep it in. I might keep it in house because he was very easily telling us this. Like,
Yeah.
hey, that guy right over there. He didn't wash his hands. And then this girl,
He
there's
didn't
like
wash
two
his hands.
people.
They didn't
two
wash their
people
hands.
behind us. Like, who brings a fucking baby to these things?
But then again, though,
It was funny.
in the end,
It was
it is fucking perfect for what ends up happening.
Yeah. Well, go ahead. Pick it up from here then.
Okay, so I'm sitting there the whole time. I'm like, I'm going to bring up the fucking specials. I'm going to do it. And I'm telling you guys this, and you're like, do it. And I said, I'm going to.
Do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna. And so we go up there, and Chuck, you have your interaction. You're gonna get something. You know, you get your little poster signed.
You don't know the rules? That's what I got signed. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, something like that. And I think he was like, yeah, okay, I'm cool. And he's like very cool with it. I think he maybe was cool with us because we were like also a little older, maybe, or seemed like we weren't
Or
being
like his age.
and
Yeah.
we're not being goofballs, you know.
Yeah.
And so he was already like kind of taking the shine to us. I'm like, I'm jumping in right now with the, and I was like, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I said something about like how I fucking love the specials, and he just like
He lit up. He lit up.
he lit up, and he just kind of stared at me for like a second or two, and he's like, I fucking love that movie too. And he's like starting to tell the story about how it was it he and Sean Gunn who were actually the friends.
Well, all I know is that James and Sean were sleeping on his couch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is the way
I want to
remember
say
it.
I think he said that he was actually friends with Sean because I actually have an addendum to the story.
I think he was friends with Sean, but James Gunn was like, he was either sleeping on the couch or like was living in the backyard or something. Like they were.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that.
According,
Yeah.
according to Jamie, I believe he wrote Romeo and Juliet in this movie while couch surfing
Yeah.
at his house. Is the
Yeah.
way it sounded,
Yeah.
along with I discovered the guns.
Pretty much. Yeah. He was
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's like, yeah, I pretty much discovered the guns. He goes,
It's awesome.
yeah, he takes total credit. And he's like, now
I would
look
take
at those
credit,
guys.
too.
Look at those
I would
guys
take
now.
credit,
And he says, basically, it's like, yeah, it's like I knew a guy I could take. I thought the script was super funny. I thought it was right, and I knew a guy I could take the script to and we could get the movie made or whatever. And you know, it kind of funny now, like as we kind of watch this movie now, and we kind of think about that conversation, and we think about like Jason, some of the stuff that both you and Chuck have said. I wonder if this movie is like one or two rewrites away from being perfect. Or maybe, Chuck, you're right. It was a longer movie that got cut to shit.
Probably.
But I wonder if this is just young writer getting to make an independent movie, doesn't have somebody come in and say, here's a, like, try another pass. Try it again, or something like that. Maybe there's something there too. And then maybe Guardians of the Galaxy is his next pass. I don't know. But but yeah, he's like, and that is, he's not lying. It's on the Wikipedia page. That exact story that he tells is on the Wikipedia page
Is it?
yeah, that somebody did, that he did know the person that could help get it funded and get it made. And I'm assuming that also came with it a lot of the actors. You needed a couple of guys like Thomas Hayden Church and Rob Lowe to kind of anchor it, but then everybody else kind of falls in after that from who they know. But then a week later, I go to PopCon, and who's at PopCon? Sean Gunn.
Oh, nice.
So I went to Sean Gunn's table, and I told him that I had talked to Jamie Kennedy the week before at Horror Hound, and we talked about the specials. And he kind of got this like almost kind of like nostalgic, far off stare in his eye. He's like, I need to call Jamie sometime. And it's like, like he hadn't talked to his buddy for a while. And it's like, he like was like, it was a little sad, but also kind of like one of those things where it's like, he's like, yeah, I remember making that movie. That was fun times, and it's like, oh, hot damn.
Nice.
One of you fuckers, I think it was Jason, said, did you tell him that Jamie said that he discovered you?
Discovered him, yeah.
I was like, no, I'm not going to do that.
It's like, no, that was his brother.
One last thing about Jamie Kennedy, in case he's listening. He was great. Like, he was so Jamie Kennedy. Like,
in case he's listening, that would be amazing. But
I know,
very unlikely.
He might find it. He might find an episode of the specials. Like, given how he loves this movie. Like,
fair enough. Fair enough. You never know.
He was great to me, and I will never forget that because of how he was.
Yeah,
he's just like. But if you've seen any movie that Jamie Kennedy is in, and you've never met him, you've met Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's more what you see.
I would say he's probably the needle points a little more towards Amok than it does the guy from Scream.
Sure, but
he's like, if you're cool with it, he's on your team, man. It's like.
Well, I gotta tell this part too, because we saw them do the Q&A. Skeet Ulrich and Jamie Kennedy, they did the Q&A for Scream. It was a scheduled hour-long Q&A, and I've been to a lot of those, and they're usually pretty bad. And the moderator of them,
it's entirely who's because the one I saw
but let me talk.
Okay.
Let me finish here. Some of them are okay. It generally does depend on like who's on the panel and who is willing to like really give themselves to it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times the moderation is very poor. I don't know why, but it's very poor.
That the one that you're talking about, that was not a great moderator.
There's quite a few of those.
There is one good one at Horror Hound, but yeah.
The other really there have been three that have really stood out, and this is probably the best one. The other two was the Nightbreed panel at I think it was the Days of the Dead in Indianapolis was exceptional. The Aliens reunion.
That was good.
Was really good. Round.
Yeah.
And that was Linda Hamilton, and she kind of took that over. And I was like kind of cool to see because she wasn't jaded at all to be there, which was kind of what you would feel like.
Yeah.
And then the Nightmare on Elm Street 2 was also exceptional. That reunion panel was great. But this one was the best. And because it was the best is because they recognized that we're not going to just sit up here and let this moderator ask us questions and like do
really awkward questions
and do the awkward like oh yeah, do we have any questions from the audience? Pass the mic around. No, they just took it over and they had Jamie Kennedy up on stage and Skeet Ulrich down on the floor moving around with the microphone. So not only did they get to ask a question, but they got to ask a question next to Skeet, which was really cool. And people were so into it. It just created this energy in the room that you don't usually have at those.
And they were very open. Like,
they
were very open about his past. And I was like, oh, shit, this is shit that I think I've read before, but it has a totally different meaning with him saying it. Yeah. And their relationship is kind of beautiful.
Yeah, you could tell they were friends and that they were kind of catching up too, right?
Yes. Well, and Jamie did the whole self-defamation, like, I'm up here with this hot dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and women like me. And it's
exactly. He was like, he played the self-deprecating, like, star. Yeah, it was
when he took his mic, while Skeet was out in the crowd, he's standing there almost like a stand-up comedian. He's kind of pacing back and forth. He's kind of looking down when he's thinking about something. Like it was like a show. It was like a legitimate show at this point.
Yeah,
It was good stuff.
they took it upon themselves to give the people what they want and to entertain, right? And you could tell that they're the reason why they are who they are, right?
Yeah.
They and are also still, they're not old. A lot of times you get these Q&As with just these like old fogies up
We
there.
saw one bad one there while we were there.
I don't want to call it out.
No,
but it was
don't. But we
bad.
did see one that was pretty
But
bad.
it was pretty
we walked
bad.
out of it.
Yeah, yeah. So it was a breath of fresh air for a convention Q&A for sure.
And and the kind of additionally tie it back to this movie, there is an attitude to this movie that feels, I don't know, it just feels like a bunch of people who got along really well and like just they're having a good time making this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't doubt that. I would be shocked if anybody said I hated making this movie.
Yeah, I would be.
I mean, it just
too.
feels like they all they showed up, they had a good time together. I bet they went out to eat every night after filming, and they probably got drunk several times. Mm-hmm. I mean, and they just had a good time together. And that's one of the things I think that also kind of resonates with me with the specials a lot too, is that it doesn't feel like there are people that are not on the same page here.
Mm-hmm. Have either of you seen Super?
No, but I want to. Is that
Rainn Wilson?
Yeah.
Rainn Wilson. I mean, that is like the final tune-up to me before Guardians of the Galaxy, and it is very much a bridge between the Supers and his Marvel work. Yeah,
The specials?
the specials. Yeah, it's Rainn Wilson. So you've got that Jenna Fisher connection there.
For sure.
Yeah.
Wow, Rainn Wilson, Elliot Page, Liv Tyler,
Nathan
Fillion, and
Yeah,
Kevin
I mean,
Bacon.
The hammer is my penis. That's not that one. But.
It's not that one, but yes, Michael Rooker. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people he's worked with, right? Linda Cardellini's in it too. I recommend it. It's not perfect, but it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
Where are we?
I think we're about there. I think this is a movie that, as it stands right now, it is on YouTube.
Yeah,
I don't know if I don't know if it's something that will always be on YouTube in its current state. Or
Probably until someone buys licensing rights for it to
probably, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
It's but it's worth a watch. Like like Jason says, it's 82 minutes, and I don't think you're going to be sorry that you spent the 82 minutes, especially if you're a fan of like comic book.
It's like watching 2 TV shows these days.
Yeah, I mean, it moves so fast too. It's like it's not boring. I'll tell you that. And yeah, if you're a fan of Lonely Island or Please Don't Destroy, this is very much like, in my opinion,
does feel like a troop movie.
Yeah, it is. It very much feels like that. It is, and it has a lot of the same kind of beats. Like I think there is a linear progression between those things. Yeah.
Well, and also, I mean, if you're just
even like Broken Lizard, some of that is in here. Yeah.
Penelope is there.
Yeah.
There was no troop here, right? There was no troop.
No.
But it feels like
it does feel like a troop.
That's why I said it does feel like everybody. This comes from a place of either people already knowing each other, or they just had a good time making it, that they all got along.
It's a lot of the troop is we're all in LA and we found each other.
It's Jamie Kennedy's couch troop.
Yeah.
We're all in LA. That'd be great if that couch is in
some
this
of us
movie.
have kind of made it, but we're not stars yet. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're just a fan of James Gunn, I think this is gonna do it. I mean,
if you want to see his beginnings and the skeleton that's there, because it's certainly there in this movie, then yes, definitely. Like, you'll be like, okay, I can see it. I can see it all here. It's just not honed yet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you can definitely see, like, whether or not he ends up doing Guardians of the Galaxy or heading up DC or whatever. If you're watching this movie, you will see that this guy is going to work for the rest of his life. Well, like he's got all the chops needed. It's just refining it.
There's also kind of like a little bit of that Rob Lowe reinventing himself phase, right?
Yeah. It very much
He's
feels
trying to John Travolta in this film a little bit.
well. It's a little bit
because he had been like number two, right, in the young number two, I guess.
He was number two. Sorry, I didn't have to say that.
The number two. But he was kind of like he was sort of not really doing much.
yeah. I mean, and that's
right.
that's where I feel a little bit of also that free enterprise feeling, because it's like it's Rob Lowe not worrying about coming off looking great. It's like he's the guy who ends up backstabbing the team by leaving it and then making fun of them. And
Yeah.
He got a
and so
large role in a film where he'd been like playing the past. Yes, so
Yeah.
why? Yeah,
yeah, so he's just having fun. He's like, hey man, I'll tell the story about a weird stretchy scrotum that comes out of a hole in a guy's uniform. It's like he's like,
I mean,
there's nothing about his performance that feels like he's embarrassed by it.
he's about to get kind of reinvigorated his careers with West Wing.
Yeah,
Like he likely shot this before he got the West Wing role, and that was kind of like, okay, Rob Lowe's back. And then of course
we haven't heard from him since.
Well, then he was
joking.
on Parks and Rec for like
Yeah,
years, and that was he was kind of like comedy guy again. Yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah, because he ended up doing he had a show more recently too. He's had multiple shows recently where it's like he's not going to be short of work, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all making up for a sex tape.
and lies, sex, lies, and a videotape. He was making up for.
Yeah.
That was Rob Lowe, right?
Nope.
What?
No.
Yes, it was. He was in Sex, Lies, and Videotape,
No,
wasn't he?
no, you're thinking of.
No, that's Jimmy Spader.
Well, he's not thinking of Jimmy
damn.
Spader though. He might be thinking of the other guy.
That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
But he is. I mean, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I recommend this for anybody who
Peter
likes.
Gallagher. You're thinking of.
Oh yeah, Peter Gallagher. I recommend this movie for anybody who likes superhero movies, who likes James Gunn, who maybe is just kind of a comic book type person, even if you don't like the superhero movies that are being made. It is not like any of the other movies that were made nowadays, at least.
Right. No. And you probably won't see many like it again.
Maybe the closest you'll get is maybe one of the Marvel TV series on Disney Plus, where they can do a little bit more stylized stuff. But it's not going to be. They're not going to spend $200 million making a movie like this.
Right.
I found the intersection. I found it because I was like, well, I mean, James Spader was always kind of like Brat Pack adjacent, right? But it was Bad Influence. They were both in Bad Influence. James Spader and Rob Lowe. It was a Curtis Hanson early effort by Curtis.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought Rob Lowe was in that.
That's probably where you're getting the mix up.
Could be, or because he was in an actual, sex tape.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe yeah.
He was in a literal sex.
It's kind of funny that of all of the weird like sexual deviant characters that James Spader has played, he wasn't the one that had the sex tape.
No, not that we've found yet. We're still looking.
We're still. I mean,
you got a band of internet sleuths out there looking for Jimmy Spader's sex tape.
Yes. we're
This went to a weird place.
We're called the JSST. But Crash is almost like a Jimmy Spader sex tape.
I mean, kinda. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
almost
mean,
like one.
Sex, Lies, and Videotape
It is
also.
too. Yeah.
No, no, not that one. That's nothing like that.
All right. Well, we've gone in many, many different directions.
Yes, we have.
Yeah. So, oh wait, I guess I should.
Secretary. There was Secretary also.
Oh
He
yeah,
was he was the Christian Grey before there was a Christian Grey in
Yes,
Secretary.
yes, I remember that movie. Yeah, that was.
It's pretty saucy.
Spader's unnerving.
He is.
Saucy. Yeah.
He is. Well, I was thinking more Maggie Gyllenhaal was saucy.
Yes, but Spader's
and
also
Spader was
saucy.
Spader. Yeah, he
Yes.
was. Yeah, that's to add another S to your group name
Yes,
for saucy.
saucy. That's why like heads almost exploded when Hader and Nicholson were saucy together in a movie. And what is it? Wolf? The Wolf.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Wolf.
yeah. That's
I'm
right.
just marking my territory.
That's right. Yeah.
That'll show up on Monster Mondays later this year, guys.
Nice.
So,
Free advert for that show.
yeah.
Whoever does that one.
yeah, whoever that asshole is. What's this? Oh, next week there is also Monster Mondays. Oh, no. So next week, next Wednesday on Film Seizure at filmseizure.com, we have a movie that I know nothing about. I'm very disappointed by the title because it seems to be not at all what I'm looking forward in a movie called Sorcerer. But Jason said we're going to watch Sorcerer, so we're going to watch that. I was hoping for Sword and the Sorcerer, but
That is exactly one of the problems with why that movie did not
I can't
have
fucking
the
imagine.
success that it would try to attain. But the other real problem was that it came out the same weekend as Star Wars. So
Is that? I mean,
yeah, that's gonna be a problem for any movie.
pretty much every movie for the next 14 months after that had a problem with Star Wars
Yep.
being released. So
Yep, sure
anyway, except for Close Encounters. Anyway,
Well, we get to talk a little bit about the French New
we'll talk
Wave
about that.
next week and our good buddy William Friedkin.
all right. All right. I'm going to go talk more about superheroes. And I'll tell you why here in just a moment. But anyway, so that's next Wednesday, June 26th. Go to filmseizure.com to get that. Also next week on Monday, June 24th, we have The Mummy's Curse, the last of the Mummies movies, the Mummy movies on Monster Mondays. Mummy movies on
Damn.
Monster Mondays. MMMM is my task force. So The Mummy's Curse is Monday afternoon. Also, filmseizure.com. You can go there. You can find all the places. You can follow us on social media, the various podcast websites where you can subscribe to get your podcast hot, fresh out of the oven, covered with butter, which also Sean Gunn eats in this movie.
Yes, he
special.
does.
So
Everything is covered in urine.
yes, this upcoming weekend on Friday, go to my website, bmovieanima.com, to read my review of a movie I think we should do on this show someday, 10 to Midnight, with Charles Bronson.
Gonna let it all hang out.
It's 10 to midnight.
Yeah.
Pretty soon we're going to let it all hang out. In about 12 minutes or so.
It'll all be hanged out then.
Just like stretchy scrotum.
So,
Tickle you
So
with
that
it.
is at so that is at bmovieanima.com. Also this weekend, I said I would be talking about comic books, and boy, howdy do I. On Saturday's episode of B Movie Anima, the series, I talk about Track of the Moon Beast, which is just a classic Mystery Science Theater episode that I'm glad
I remember that one.
to do that. But it was written by William Finger, Bill Finger, co-creator of Batman. I have a 14-minute segment where I just talk about Batman in one take. I'm quite proud of it. I
Dang.
did it.
You did it.
Awesome.
You did it.
So that'll be this Saturday night, bmovieanima.com, Vimeo, YouTube, or whatever. Just do it. All right. So until next week, when I'm mightily disappointed that there are no magic wielders, I am the Enema Man.
I am Richard Dawson's head.
I'm Jason Oliver, and the bottom dropped out
After midnight.
when it all hung out.
When the bottom went and dropped out.
And I guess this was Film Seizure.